politics.
Okay, Joy.
Here.
Joy. Tria.
Here.
Aiko.
Yes.
Grace. No Grace. Teresa. Hello. Jenny.
Here.
I'm Brad.
What kind of white are you?
What?
Is it Irish? You look really Irie.
Irie?
Yeah, it's short for Irish.
All right, let's do some warm-up improv scenes. No suggestions.
You're
Throwing me under the bus off? Mastermind behind the whole thing.
You're gonna rat me out? Classic wimpy white man. Where's your honor?
I'm not hiding any Jews. Not. A sword collection? Control, man.
Crush this beer can on your forehead. Frat boy. Oh, Delta U!
I know I'm not really a religious person, but this pub is pretty chill.
Yeah. I mean, I even started going to church.
Are you two?
Oh my god, it's a priest! Get out of here!
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you?
How's everyone doing today? Retaliation politics.
Okay, Joy.
Here.
Tria.
Here.
Aiko.
Yes.
Grace. No Grace. Teresa. Hello. Jenny.
Here.
Hey, I'm Anna.
I'm Brad.
What kind of white are you?
What?
Is it Irish? You look really Irie.
Irie?
Yeah, it's short for Irish.
All right, let's do some warm-up improv scenes. No suggestions.
You're under embezzlement from Bank of America.
Throw us, Officer Kelly? But you were the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Oh, you're gonna rat me out? Classic wimpy white man. Where's your honor?
I'm not hiding any Jews. 9. A sword collection? Really? Your yellow fever's getting out of control, man.
Crush this beer can on your forehead, frat boy. For Delta U!
I'm not this person, but this pub is pretty chill.
Yeah. I mean, I even started going to church.
Are you two?
Oh my god, it's the Pentapole priest! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you not have a note on this?
Yeah, super funny, Brad. But you could commit more. It seems like you're hesitating.
The initiations are pretty stereotypical.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Frat bro, embezzler, pedophile priest. I mean, I know these are the only portrayals of white men in media, but that doesn't mean that we're all like that.
Nobody's saying that, Brad.
It's just a little frustrating, to not see someone who looks like me in class or on the stage. I mean, even at the higher levels, it's all just Asian women.
Hey, funny is funny, dude. It's not our fault that most people in improv are Asian women.
Funny is also subjective. I mean, you guys have a very particular sense of humor, and you're going to identify with other Asian women.
Wait, are you saying we're racist?
Hey, my boyfriend's white.
No, not racist. Maybe unconsciously biased?
All right. I think we all heard Brad. Thank you for speaking up. But let's keep the politics out of here for a little bit and get back to work. Brad, why don't you initiate a scene?
Whoa, that new whey protein's really doing a number on your traps.
Yeah, wrap it up, broski. We're late for a Coldplay concert, and they're a bunch of women we need to shame into fucking us.
Really?
I'd still do them.
But I'm here today because I believe Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy. The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't. I'm here today because I believe Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy. The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't make the necessary changes because they have put their astronomical profits before people. Congressional action is needed. They won't solve this crisis without your help. Yesterday, we saw Facebook get taken off the internet. I don't know why it went down, but I know that for more than 5 hours, Facebook wasn't used to deepen divides, destabilize democracies, and make young girls and women feel bad about their bodies. It also means that millions of small businesses weren't able to reach potential customers, and countless photos of new babies weren't joyously celebrated by family and friends around the world. I believe in the potential of Facebook. We can have social media we enjoy that connects us without tearing apart our democracy, putting our children in danger, and sowing ethnic violence around the world. We can do better. I have worked as a product manager at large tech companies since 2006, including Google, Pinterest, Yelp, and Facebook. My job has largely focused on algorithmic products like Google Plus Search and recommendation systems like the one that powers the Facebook newsfeed. Having worked on 4 different types of social networks, I understand how complex and nuanced these problems are. However, the choices being made inside of Facebook are disastrous for our children, for our public safety, for our privacy, and for our democracy. And that is why we must demand Facebook make changes. During my time at Facebook, first working as the lead product manager for civic misinformation, and later on counter-espionage, I saw Facebook repeatedly encounter conflicts between its own profits and our safety. Facebook consistently resolved these conflicts in favor of its own profits. The result has been more division, more harm, more lies, more threats, and more combat. In some cases, this dangerous online talk has led to actual violence that harms and even kills people. This is not simply a matter of certain social media users being angry or unstable, or about one side being radicalized against the other. It is about Facebook choosing to grow at all costs, becoming an almost $1 trillion company by buying its profits with our safety. During my time at Facebook, I came to realize a devastating truth. Almost no one outside of Facebook knows what happens inside of Facebook. The company intentionally hides vital information from the public, from the US government, and from governments around the world. The documents I have provided to Congress prove that Facebook has repeatedly misled the public about what its own research reveals about the safety of children, the efficacy of its artificial intelligence systems, and its role in spreading divisive and extreme messages. I came forward because I believe that every human being deserves the dignity of the truth. The severity of this crisis demands that we break out of our previous regulatory frames. Facebook wants to trick you into thinking that privacy protections or changes to Section 230 alone will be sufficient. While important, these will not get to the core of the issue, which is that no one truly understands the destructive choices made by Facebook except Facebook. We can afford nothing less than full transparency. As long as Facebook is operating in the shadows, hiding its research from public scrutiny, it is unaccountable. Until the incentives change, Facebook will not change. Left alone, Facebook will continue to make choices that go against the common good, our common good. When we realized big tobacco was hiding the harms it caused, the government took action. When we figured out cars were safer with seatbelts, the government took action. And when our government learned that opioids were taking lives, the government took action. I implore you to do the same here. Today, Facebook shapes our perception of the world by choosing the information we see. Even those who don't use Facebook are impacted by the majority who do. A company with such frightening influence over so many people, over their deepest thoughts, feelings, and behavior, needs real oversight. But Facebook's closed design means it has no real oversight. Only Facebook knows how it personalizes your feed for you. At other large tech companies like Google, any independent researcher can download from the internet the company's search results and write papers about what they find. And they do. But Facebook hides behind walls that keeps researchers and regulators from understanding the true dynamics of their system. Facebook will tell you privacy means they can't give you data. This is not true. When tobacco companies claimed that filtered cigarettes were safer for consumers, scientists could independently invalidate these marketing messages and confirm that, in fact, they posed a greater threat to human health. The public cannot do the same with Facebook. We are given no other option than to take their marketing messages on blind faith. Not only does the company hide most of its own data, my disclosure has proved that when Facebook is directly asked questions as important as, how do you impact the health and safety of our children, they mislead and they choose to mislead and misdirect. Facebook has not earned our blind faith. This inability to see into Facebook's actual systems and confirm how they work is communicated and confirm that they work as communicated is like the Department of Transportation regulating cars by only watching them drive down the highway. Today, no regulator has a menu of solutions for how to fix Facebook because Facebook didn't want them to know enough about what's causing the problems. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been need for a whistleblower. How is the public supposed to assess if Facebook is resolving conflicts of interest in a way that is aligned with the public good if the public has no visibility into how Facebook operates? This must change. Facebook wants you to believe that the problems we're talking about are unsolvable. They want you to believe in false choices. They want you to believe that you must choose between a Facebook full of divisive and extreme content or losing one of the most important values our country was founded upon, free speech. That you must choose between public oversight of Facebook's choices and your personal privacy. That to be able to share fun photos of your kids with old friends, you must also be inundated with anger-driven virality. They want you to believe that this is just part of the deal. I am here today to tell you that's not true. These problems are solvable. A safer, free speech respecting, more enjoyable social media is possible. But there's one thing that I hope everyone takes away from these disclosures. It is that Facebook can change, but is clearly not going to do so on its own. My fear is that without action, divisive and extremist behaviors we see today are only the beginning. What we saw in Myanmar and are now seeing in Ethiopia are only the opening chapters of a story so terrifying, no one wants to read the end of it.
A story so terrible we won't be able to read the end of it. Very dystopian, guys. Very elusive. What's not elusive is Tommy Nation politics. We're free thinking, innovative, totally open minded. And what I want you to do, guys, is ask yourself some questions today. Why is the Atlantic slowly filling with the crude petroleum oil of BP, threatening millions of years of ecological balance? Why do traders at prominent banks like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the Wall Street hedge funders, why do they take high-risk gambles with the money entrusted to them by hundreds of thousands of clients around the world, expanding and leveraging their investments to the point that failure led to a global financial crisis that left millions of people jobless and hundreds of cities economically devastated, not to mention homes being foreclosed on by people like Steve Mnuchin. Complicit, Vice President Kamala Harris. Why would the world's most powerful military spend 10 years fighting an enemy that presents no direct threat? Or allow propaganda terms such as Russian asset, Kremlin puppet, Assad apologist to be an appropriate news media memo? I know the answer, guys. I want you to say it all together with me. 5 syllables. Neoliberal. The neoliberal ideology, guys. The neoliberal ideology that lets the free market govern the affairs of man, humanity. Something that's been around since the dawn of time is being governed by an economic theory of people like John Locke, classical liberal principles that were well-meaning, to say the least. But at this point, guys, it's simplistic. It's plain as day to see what it's become. It's become profit over people. Profit over people, guys. Now, in order to describe what's happening, Noam Chomsky, he wrote a book called People Over Profit. It's a very good book. It was in the 90s, right after his Manufacturing Consent, which showed how the mass media does propaganda to sell their stories and make excuses for the banks, the military-industrial complex, and Wall Street. Also, Juniper Smoke, what up? Hey, I remember you. Glad you remembered me. Thanks for subscribing. Y'all make sure that you become free-thinking, innovative, and open-minded by always subscribing, like, share the video. Lots of people don't seem to be making out what's been going on, guys. We have antitrust complaints. We have a freedom of speech. The freedom of speech is it's being attacked, guys. It's time for us to, Edward Snowden said, we have to work collectively and quickly. There's no time for dawdling, guys. No time. Edward Snowden was another whistleblower. He was the whistleblower of the CIA. The whistleblower you just listened to was Frances Hogan. She was a whistleblower of Facebook. She's testifying in court how these Facebook, the social media website, actually fans the flames of divisive natures of actual wars, guys. It helped to actually build wars. Amazing. We're gonna be listening to her 60 Minutes. Thank you. We're gonna be listening to her 60 Minutes interview. But first, I want you guys to remember the Young Turks, guys, and people like them. They're always so shocked when the two-party duopoly system is fucking you in the ass. It's amazing. So I put together a little intro. I hope you enjoy it. A little collage, if you will, of all the times the Young Turks were so shocked that we live in a system that benefits the 1% that own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. And God, if only, but I gotta vote for Joe Biden. But I gotta vote for Hillary Clinton. It's what you call manufacturing consent, guys, for the profits over people. And I want you to see what even people that claim to be lefty news, they're complicit in the game. So without further ado, guys, here's Cenk Uygur. I remember watching him when I was just a little progressive spud. Oh, how I've grown.
Before, when you were on, we talked a little bit, but I think in this context, it's important for people to understand that. You had to deal with MSNBC at one point.
Came out of office. 2003, I was the hottest commodity out there. Fox, MSNBC, and CNN got in a bidding war for me. MSNBC won. I signed a 3-year contract with them. I was supposed to be on 5 nights a week, but there was a problem. After I signed the contract, we were putting the whole show together. It came out that I opposed the Iraq War. Mm-hmm. Well, at the same time, they had just hired Phil Donahue. Phil was their highest rated show. He also opposed the Iraq War. Phil got pulled from the air, and I was never allowed on, basically.
So I want people
and they paid me for the whole 3 years, so I was handcuffed by their contract. I couldn't do any news shows, couldn't do any other network, and they paid the entire 3 years. It's the easiest money I've ever made, but they, in essence, censored me because I honor contracts, and, you know, as long as they paid me, they owned me.
Yeah. So they did the same thing to Ashley Banfield. She spoke out against the war.
Ashley got pulled.
Yeah, and not only did they pull her from the air, when she was a huge star at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Giant rising star. They wouldn't let her out of her contract, and then they moved her office inside a closet. You know why? It's not about Ashley Banfield. That was sending a message to everyone else in the building.
Yeah.
Okay, we worry about the Russians, we're worried about Al Jazeera. And I understand those concerns, right? I'm not minimizing those concerns.
We should be worried about ourselves.
We should be worried about us too. Because when MSNBC does that, well, that's also limiting free speech.
Think back, people. There was nobody speaking out against the Iraq War before we invaded.
Gentlemen, good morning. Well, what do you have for me today?
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics. Hi guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How you doing today, huh? Just got out of the shower. I really had to wipe the slime and crud of Republicans and Democrats off my goddamn skin. It's been a long week, guys. A long week of Republicans and Democrats.
Mr. President, Senator Mitch McConnell letter to you explaining his view. Have you seen that letter? Have you communicated with him? And how dire do you believe this is if action doesn't take place in the next few days?
First of all, I did get a letter. I got it 10 minutes before I walked in here. I've read it. I plan on talking to Mitch about it. He and I have been down this road once before, back when I was vice president. And I hope we can have some intelligent and honest conversation about what he's proposing. And I think the easiest way to do this, and if the Republicans would not use the filibuster, would be to let us vote on what is already in the Senate right now, passed by the House, to raise the debt limit. And we could do that in the next several days.
I just want to be very clear. Can you guarantee that the U.S. will not breach the debt ceiling, that will not happen?
No, I can't. That's up to Mitch McConnell.
It's possible that the U.S. will not pay its debt. That is possible.
I can't believe that will be the end result because the consequence is so dire. I don't believe that. But can I guarantee it? If I could, I would, but I can't.
We've got the Republicans that have not held on to any pretense of dignity, integrity, or principles. And the Democrats They're weak as fuck. Spineless as you know what. But I'm enjoying myself. It's a Sunday fun day. It's October 3rd, year of our Lord, 2021. We're all nearly halfway over from the year. We have election day, almost a month away. So I'm easing my game. I'm easy like Sunday morning. I'm chilling. I'm chilaquile. We chilaquile here in the Texas area. We chilaquile. That means we chill. I'm drinking some Shiraz from New Zealand, by the way, guys. It's very good. I forget what the brand's called. It's called Oak Leaf Vineyards, guys. Oak Leaf. Not much oak there in New Zealand. I don't know what the fuck that means. It must be a corporate vineyard. In either case, I feel a fruit-forward, jam-tastic, wonderful Shiraz easing down my throat at this moment. So delicious, delish. I prefer a petite Syrah, but what can you do, guys? What can you do when you're in the when you're in the blue collar, working man system, and the 1% own more wealth than the 90% combined, and they're the ones in the Napa Valley region drinking all petite Syrah, so I can't get any. Well, guys, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. What I can tell you, though, some people will be still surprised that our motherfucking politicians are robbing us, and the 1% own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. Ooh, I didn't know that happened. Wow, guys, one of these motherfucking players in the game of I am shocked and chagrined is, of course, the one and only Young Turks, guys. I used to watch these guys when I was a little fucking progressive. A little spot. Right in my little soil of Bernie.
This is from the CNN poll. We're not making this up. It's right from CNN.com. 43% of Americans still believe that Saddam Hussein was personally involved in the September 11th attacks on this country. 43%. Right now, in September of 2006, 5 years later. That is a stunning number. 43% of Americans are dead wrong on a fact. Okay? You know what that means? That is a colossal failure on the part of the press. There is no excuse for it. No. There is no excuse.
Of course there is. The excuse is that the people themselves have to have a curiosity about this.
No, they don't.
Of course they do.
It is the job of the press to inform the American people, and they have failed utterly.
I've grown out of that soil. And I guess I've grown out of watching the Young Turks because I have had it with their I'm shocked and chagrined attitudes, guys. Just watch this clip. Let me analyze this with us. Let me tell you what I think. Wait, you tell me what I think. But first, guys, before I play a clip, I have to remind you guys that I'm a free-thinking, progressive, innovative, totally independent media, and I rely on your donations to make it happen, and also buy my not petite Syrah, Shiraz, from New Zealand. It's a fully bodied and smooth blackberry aroma, black pepper notes, and bold, long finish. I do feel the long finish. I guess it's not false advertising. And neither is Tommy Nation Politics. We're here to give you the news, guys. So make sure you donate, guys, and make sure you contribute. I do need your contributions. Otherwise, I can't do the show, okay? I'm in the working class. PayPal to Tommy Nation Politics. You see that, guys? Capital T, capital A, capital P. Tommy Nation Politics. There's a slogan, or rather a jingle associated with it. It's in minor. Tommy Nation Politics. I'll give you a hint. It's a flat minor. It's more like a Dorian mode, if you'd care to know that. You can also reach us on Discord and Twitter. Tommy Nation Poll. Poll there! Ahoy! Tommy Nation Poll. Join the fight with us always on Facebook.com/Tommy Nation Politics, where you can send us your messages. You can send us your thoughts, your prayers, condolences, if you don't donate to me. And some about it, guys. I'm going to show you this clip where some people are still surprised that Joe Biden be fucking a motherfucker.
So have you been clear with the White House about how much you're willing to spend on this human infrastructure bill?
We're just working. We're all still talking, working together.
Is the White House clear on what you want?
I think they're pretty much understanding where I am.
And so you don't care how much this bill is. You just need
I want the need.
to you.
Well, I do care about the bill. I care about the size of the bill. Sure, I do. Everybody cares.
3.5 is still too high for you.
That's pretty high.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has officially changed her tune on the budget reconciliation bill. You know, the very bill that she claimed she desperately wanted to pass because she cares about the children. She wants to do something for the children. Well, it turns out the children don't matter all that much, because in a private caucus meeting, Pelosi said the party must make difficult choices because the dynamics have changed and Democrats have not yet agreed to a spending level on the budget reconciliation bill, and that's according to a source familiar with this meeting. Now, I want to give you a direct quote from Nancy Pelosi. This is what she said to the Democratic caucus during this meeting last night. I told all of you that we wouldn't go on to the bipartisan infrastructure bill until we had the reconciliation bill passed by the Senate. We were right on schedule to do all of that. No, you weren't. Until 10 days ago, a week ago, when I heard the news that this number had to come down. It all changed, so our approach had to change. So look, if you're tuning in on this particular story for the first time, quick context, quick backstory. You have Biden proposing a massive piece of legislation. It includes infrastructure, both physical infrastructure and what he referred to as human infrastructure, all of the provisions that we actually care about that would materially benefit people's lives, childcare, elder care, Medicare expansion, all of that stuff, right? Mandatory paid family leave, that's all included in this massive bill along with the physical infrastructure. Then they decided, well, why don't we divvy up this bill into two separate bills, one being the corporate handout bill, that's the bipartisan legislation, and the other being the budget reconciliation bill, which the Senate theoretically could pass with a simple majority in the Senate. Well, it all ended up being a trick, at least on behalf of the moderate, or I should just say conservative Democrats, who never really had any interest in passing it. So even today, we're still at this point where the only thing that we can really rely on is progressives staying true to what they promised by blocking the bipartisan corporate handout bill. Okay, that's what corporations want, that's what conservative Democrats want, that's what Republicans want. Progressives should block it. No reconciliation bill, no bipartisan bill. That was the deal, they should stick to that.
The plan originally was for this to pass through the Senate, for the Senate to do its job and bring the House legislation. And it's important to note that it's not progressives putting the House or Biden in this position. This is the progressives pushing Joe Biden's agenda. It was Joe Biden's initial preference to have the Senate pass these both and have them both voted on together in the House.
So, I mean, all we have to do is rely on AOC, the squad, to stand firm and make sure that our progressive values and principles are maintained. Sounds like we're gonna lose. Shocked and chagrined, TYT. Are you shocked and chagrined, TYT? You mean all we have is AOC and the squad? You mean Nancy Pelosi wasn't gonna fucking help us in the first place? Ooh. You mean Joe Biden was gonna fuck us even though he's been fucking us for 40 fucking years?
With all due respect to everybody else.
I mean, shocked and chagrin. Call me shocked and motherfucking chagrin, niggas. Well, that's cool. So, what are we gonna do, guys? What the fuck are we gonna do? Serious question. But that's why there's Combination Politics, guys, to bring you the I'm sorry to tell you, but they're not. And this is why I hate fucking YouTube. It's okay, guys. You get the picture. Shocked and chagrined, are we? Are we shocked and chagrined yet, guys? I can't believe it. Fuck this shit. Oh, well, that's live TV. I just want to make sure it doesn't come on while I'm talking. Get out of here. You kids, get out. Woohoo! I'm back. Good. All right. Juniper Smoke. What up? Glad you could make it to Combination Politics. We've got a whole lot to talk about today. I can't talk about it myself. So I'm going to have to ask a very special guest, Beatrice Harris, aka Ms. V from Slave Nation Podcast and Love and Humanity. See, I remembered both of them this time. Oh my God. How's it going, Beatrice?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's real fucking crazy now.
I mean, it's just been the past 2 days have been crazy. It's like escalating. What's going on with this stuff? So Facebook stock dropped 18 points yesterday, and they had some malfunctions. There's a whistleblower that came out, Frances Hogan. She's testifying before the Senate that Facebook, it turns out, they're intending to create divisive rhetoric and tear people apart. They're intending all this.
Hold on a minute. Let's back that up. First of all, they've always been spewing divisive rhetoric. It's not they're intending to. They've been doing it. They've been censoring people. So I don't know why they keep saying that they intend to do something that they're already doing. That's what pisses me off. They're already doing that. Especially the fact that they've censored over 100,000 accounts when it comes to conservative people, basically free thinkers as well. They've blocked at least 1.8 million posts that have to do with Anthony Fauci. Hi. And they've also blocked at least 500,000 Twitter accounts having to do with the vaccine. So this is a matter of them filtering out information that they don't want the public to see or hear. And now it's getting to the point where they're like really cracking down. Like if you even say or hint towards the potential adverse side effects from the vaccine, then they're like, oh, well, we got to cancel you. First of all, that's actually public information. Like I said, there's the VAERS and there's also this the CDC, but I wouldn't rely on the CDC because they change their shit up all the time. But the VAERS system records adverse reactions and side effects from vaccines. And now it is going viral again on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, where people are developing basically Bell's palsy. Basically, one side of your face becomes paralyzed permanently. And then there's the left side of paralysis called it's called hemoparalysis. It means that one side of your body or one part of your body on either left or right becomes paralyzed, we are still talking about these sudden blood clots that have been developing. Now, when I looked at your title, Profits Over People, I said, yes, I did something like that on Periscope. And it was called the deductibles for the docile, basically, because that's what it is. They want to offer something for free, but it's going to affect you for a lifetime. It's going to affect how you function as a human being, but at least they get their incentive. At least they get their payout. It was
Right.
never about public safety. It was never about making sure that people were protected, because we now have over at least 133,000 new applications for Social
Right.
Security in 1 year. That's very high. Why? Because, first they say it's long COVID, and they're trying to integrate that with ME, and I'm already pissed off by that. And then they're saying, if you've been affected at all by COVID, then you qualify. Well, now it's going to become even wider. So if you've been affected by the vaccine or you have any potential side effects, you can qualify for disability. Well, that's going to actually drain the Social Security fund a lot more, actually, because the more people who become disabled have to collect a certain amount of benefits. Now, that's either they work or they may not have worked and they're on SSI. But that's actually going to cause a lot more issues, because either in 2028 or 2023, the Social Security fund is going to run out. Why? I'll tell you why. Well, with all the vaccine mandates that's going on, especially having to do with employment, we are seeing a horrifying drop in jobs. And when you have a horrifying drop in jobs, you're definitely going to have a horrifying drop in Social Security taxes, which actually apply to the Social Security fund. But more than that, every single time our precious Democratic Party wanted to do some spending, let's dip into the Social Security fund. They've got more than enough. In 2020, when it came to them filing an impeachment against Donald Trump, they took $1.8 billion out of the Social Security fund for that. And then they took an additional $9.3 trillion from the Social Security fund. So they are literally bleeding that fund dry, no matter how many people work, no matter how many taxes that is put into it, no matter how much you raise the rates, you still have these idiots robbing the people blind. Now let's talk about Medicaid and Medicare. Same thing. Medicaid and Medicare have a yearly budget of $738 billion to work with every year. Where exactly is that money going? Because apparently people who have medical and mental health conditions, they're not really getting the right representation. And the over-testing and the charging for the over-testing, which I admit myself is pretty fucking ridiculous. Now we know, okay, maybe over half of that is for the Medicaid budget. However, you want to talk about providing health care. You want to talk about providing options for people to get better. Here's the problem. I don't see any vouchers for free fitness. I don't see any free vouchers for additional physical therapy. I don't see any funding being provided to people so they can actually buy gym equipment or supplements or things like that so they can be healthy. So what exactly is the agenda behind having an over $700 billion budget? I'll tell you what it is. They want to keep people as sick as possible. They want to keep people as weak as possible, because a patient cured is a customer lost.
Yes, and that's profits over people. And that makes me feel a little bit uneasy about the fact that as a progressive that I advocate for Medicare for all, but like we still have, conservatives have a very valid arguments and stuff you brought up already, vouchers for fitness. Like, do we have to take exactly what, these people are like the doctor patient whole thing is supposed to be like a sacred thing, right? Where we talk to our doctors and we get the right information because, she's our neighbor down the street. She knows us on like a human level. And so she actually cares about us. She's not trying to sell us narcotics that have, been pushed by the health insurance companies. She's not supposed to be, endorsing on a political aspect any kind of vaccine because President Biden is on the bully pulpit pushing for a vaccine. She's supposed to be purely advocating for your well-being, for your good, and that's something that's like it's skewed, it's messed up, as well as the common good.
It's just really
not,
it's
the
it's
common good is messed
confusing.
up.
It's really confusing to me.
It's a
Really
microcosm of the
confusing to me
country.
because in 2007, there was this huge. Oh yes, thank you. That's what I'm fighting for anyway. What is it? Juniper Smoke. Hi,
Yeah,
welcome. Nice to meet you. Um,
friend of the
so
show.
basically, in
Go ahead.
2007. I actually put together a proposal, really didn't get through the door. It was called Bio Beautiful. And I was trying to gather all of the leaders, all of my community leaders and the state leaders to put together a special fund that will provide vouchers for supplements, fitness, or gym equipment to combat obesity, diabetes, and things like that. Unfortunately, it didn't get through the door because, well, I guess that's not what they wanted. So we're going to fast forward. The problem that people are not seeing is this. Our food has been greatly manipulated. One product that people talk about a lot is eggs. They talk about eggs, and
It was one of the first bits of propaganda in the 80s. The hearty
right.
breakfast, eggs and bacon.
Here's the problem. The reason why they were pushing eggs so much is because the entire supply like the eggs themselves were vaccinated. So we were eating vaccines growing up. That's the reason why there were so
Do
many
you have
ads.
do you have do you have substantial evidence for this or
There is substantial evidence, and I will be posting it. I will be discussing it in my new
please
season of Cosmic Collision. Sorry, coming back, season
post
9.
it on the link to
Myth
this video as
Rising.
well because
Yeah,
we got to
and
back up our stuff. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's certain things that you eat, yes, but there are also certain things that you have to pay attention to with the changes. Sad
What
thing.
changes? What changes are you talking about?
Fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
Fruits and vegetables. I love fruits and vegetables. I love to sit and eat a tomato, cucumber, and green onion salad with a bit of jalapeno. Here's the problem with that. It is delicious, it's good, but my gut can tell, okay, there's something wrong with this. Here's what's wrong with it. 93% of our food supply coming from produce has already been contaminated by PFAS and pesticides. So trying to eat healthy, forget about it. It ain't happening because everything has become toxic. Our juice, smoothies, ingredients for smoothies, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, you name it. Why? Because it was in the air. Okay? When it rains, it pours. Literally. We literally have been. Okay, we had chickens growing up. Yes, that's true. The best way to get eggs is from a farm that has not been manipulated, if you will. Family farms have the freshest eggs, basically coming out of a chicken's ass, okay? Literally coming out of a chicken's ass, unfortunately. It doesn't come in a carton and you can leave it out. You don't have to refrigerate it.
Everything is so good
I
about
think
chicken, bro.
I
Even their
think we
fucking
should represent I think we
even
should
their
start
livers are
representing
good.
I think we should
Shit.
start representing farm families. We should start representing farm families and try and help them move up a little bit more. Same thing when it comes to dairy products. I know you'd like that. When it comes to dairy products, We have to be mindful of the type of milk we drink because raw milk actually has benefits. It has medical benefits. It takes care of inflammatory issues and everything. But the milk that you see in the store, forget about it. It's at least 70% water.
Right. You can tell too.
Yeah.
Besides, they actually like skim milk. What is skim milk? What
Now
the hell is
here's
skim
the
milk?
fun part. Here's the unpleasant part.
Okay, but
The
just a few more minutes on that because I got to turn it back around to the other
Yep.
crisis that we're going.
Yep.
But go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
everyone is going balls crazy about soy milk.
Right.
Everyone's like, "Oh, I have soy milk. Oh, give me some soy milk. Oh, I love soy milk." Okay, yes, I tried it. I'm sorry. There's something wrong with it because you're dealing with a massive food supply system that uses chemicals, hormones, pesticides on everything. And they tell you right on the package, this may contain da 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 da, and you're like, oh, that's no big deal. Then all of a sudden your stomach hurts, and then you got to use the bathroom a lot more, and you're wondering, what's wrong with me? Well, dear, you've had contaminated soy because there was a recall in 2000, early 2020. There was a recall with Diamond Breeze and other soy milk products that it was contaminated by Fusobacterium and salmonella. So it does not matter how much healthy food you eat, it's where you get it from. Now, when it comes to kombucha, I love my Synergy. That's the number one thing. Try it if you're okay with having the aftertaste of a sock in your mouth, but it is very healthy for you.
So
And
aside with how our food is now getting messed with on a human basis with getting shot, like you said before, the oranges and the apples are getting shot with some chemical substances. Our oceans are being polluted. Our political landscape has been infected with the bacteria of Republicans and Democrats, and our fucking entire social apparatus or a social construct has been infected with social media technocrats from Silicon Valley,
when it
namely
comes
Bill
to
Gates. Bill Gates, who is now a farmer, he now
he ain't
wants
no
to know
fucking
where your
farmer.
next
I'm gonna
meal is
keep
coming
saying
from.
that he is no
And
farmer.
then Jack Dorsey is now going into the war. He's going into weapons. He's weapons manufacturing as well
Oh
in the
God!
Raytheon
So
aspect.
now we're
So
dealing with an arms race. Are you kidding me? We're
yes,
dealing
but
with an
coming up.
arms race.
But this is Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg is still the only one of the 5 technocrats that still maintain his company as CEO. Jeff Bezos is stepping down, having a puppet CEO, even though he's going to still run the company. He's calling himself the executive chair. He made that up himself. But
I really don't.
Mark Zuckerberg,
They're,
this is
they
Washington Post
change.
today.
They're
After 4
changing
years,
hands. Listen to me, Tommy.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
changing hands because the truth is coming out in droves. Like everything is just literally being poured out. And yes, I know that the majority of the masses are going to be like, "Huh, well, I don't believe that because well, this is our
They
government."
don't.
And
They
they're like,
literally think
nigga,
today.
shut up.
You're back on Facebook. They're
Listen.
back on Facebook. Go ahead. But I'm just saying they're not. Go
The
ahead.
problem is, and I don't consider Democrats or Republicans bacteria because even that dies out after a while. I consider, sorry,
That was a good joke. Go ahead.
I consider Democrats and Republicans parasites. Think about this.
Better.
We
It's better.
have parasites. We have parasites that can live up to 50 years in the human body. 50 years. It's a beautiful thing. Now, let's talk about the history of Biden, Obama, and all of them who's been at this for 50 years. And I know it's very unpleasant, but we've been dealing with the same crap. Now we have 4 years. Now think about this, people. We had 4 years of somewhat peace. We still had the little police brutality. We still had the racial tensions and all of that. But we all called for, in general, we all called for a change. Like, oh, let's do the blue wave. Let's do a blue tsunami. It's blue, blue, blue. And Democrats are carrying it. How y'all doing?
I mean, there isn't a difference. I don't understand why they haven't met it. There's only one difference, Beatrice, and you could say that they're changing hands, but they're becoming more and more arrogant as time goes on. And even in the Washington Post, which is Jeff Bezos' paper, the Washington Post,
I
it
don't read that
says,
shit.
quote, okay, well, listen to this. It says, quote, oh, fuck. It says, gone is the familiar script in which Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg issues formal apologies, sometimes in long blogs on his personal Facebook page on live stream video. Latest scandal, in the continuous scandal of 4 years, almost continuous scandal from Facebook, the latest controversy of that whistleblower, Frances Hogan, they are not only outright demeaning her credibility by calling her all kinds of names and pulling out all the stops, just like they did with Trump, just like they've done with everybody who they disagree with. I mean, they've refined this game of dehumanizing and fucking, making animalistic attacks
This is
towards
the
people.
problem. This is the
Now,
problem I have with
go
this is the
ahead.
problem I have with humanity. First of all, and even though I'm not really into movies, I did get into a little bit of Tyler Perry, and it's something that Medea said. Okay,
Go ahead.
pay attention.
I am. Always am.
Oh, hold on a minute. Kind of lost it.
Oh my God.
Basically, it's not how much they talk shit about you, it's what you answer to. And unfortunately, we've been conditioned to flip out on the wrong people. Now we have a certain subset of groups. Now, Tommy, you and I were identified as free thinkers, like where we think outside the box, basically, and we see it for what it is. Then we have the misguided. Sorry to say, folks. Severely misguided. Like you look in your phone and you see Fauci talking his shit. And you're like, oh, well, gotta listen. No, no. I'm just gonna say no. Because then people will ask, well, why? Why no? I'm saying because no. Because when you look at the overwhelming exposure on our smartphones, basically, and you've got like 19 or 25 different notifications saying, well, Dr. Fauci said that nobody's going to have a Christmas and he's going to have his Christmas and everybody's got to be vaccinated, and you get caught up in the conditioning. We all took biology, we all took chemistry, we all took physics, all of us. And it seems that after a certain age, people forget about the basic reasoning. They forget about what we learned about viruses, about bacteria, how they thrive and how they die. And apparently, just because these asswipes have a certain level of diluted power and privilege, they think that if they say, and this has happened, this is why people really need to get wise. When they say studies show, what studies? What studies specifically? Because back in 2020, late 2020, it said study shows that if you wear a mask for too long, you're going to get a skin infection. Then they flip it 2 months later saying studies show that masks work. I'm like, how? For real?
I don't know.
Are you serious?
Well, academic,
Because first of all, masks, this
pure
is what
studied
people
researches.
this is what
Probably
people
what
fail
it
to
is.
realize. Masks are meant for people who are sick or are officially infected. When you're a healthy person and you put that mask on, you're only breathing in what you're supposed to be expelling in the air. This is how your immune function gets messed up, because you're making yourself sick. Okay?
Right,
That's
but we've already gone beyond the like. The truth is not the thing that is going to hit home. It's the propaganda of fear that always
exactly.
makes
Yeah.
everybody. And so I'm just going to play like 2 minutes of this clip with the 60 Minutes interview, and I want you to get your reaction on this, Beatrice. Don't go anywhere. Just stay here.
Her name is Frances Haugen. That is a fact that Facebook has been anxious to know since last month, when an anonymous former employee filed complaints with federal law enforcement. The complaints say Facebook's own research shows that it amplifies hate, misinformation, and political unrest, but the company hides what it knows. One complaint alleges that Facebook's Instagram harms teenage girls. What makes Haugen's complaints unprecedented is the trove of private Facebook research she took when she quit in May. The documents appeared first last month in the Wall Street Journal, but tonight, Frances Haugen is revealing her identity to explain why she became the Facebook whistleblower.
The story will continue in a moment.
The thing I saw at Facebook over and over again was there were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over again chose to optimize for its own interests, like making more money.
Frances Haugen is 37, a data scientist from Iowa, with a degree in computer engineering and a Harvard master's degree in business. For 15 years, she's worked for companies including Google and Pinterest.
I've seen a bunch of social networks, and it was substantially worse at Facebook than anything I'd seen before.
You know, someone else might have just quit and moved on. And I wonder why you take this stand.
Imagine you know what's going on inside of Facebook, and you know no one on the outside knows. I knew what my future looked like if I continued to stay inside of Facebook, which is person after person after person has tackled this inside of Facebook and ground themselves to the ground.
When and how did it occur to you to take all of these documents out of the company?
At some point in 2021, I realized, okay, I'm gonna have to do this in a systemic way, and I have to get out enough that no one can question that this is real.
She secretly copied tens of thousands of pages of Facebook internal research.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is a story just like Edward Snowden, where Edward Snowden is doing dirty work, nefarious as shit for the CIA, and even he, who's already doing nefarious shit, realizes they're going too far and has to reveal this. As you could tell, she worked for Pinterest, she worked for Google. She's part of the club. She's part of the club, but she thought it went too far, just like Edward Snowden did. And now Facebook is going guns a-blazing at her, just like the CIA did with Snowden, trying to destroy her credibility and make sure that she doesn't work again. Now, this is the tactic that fascists and totalitarian authoritarians use, and this is a strategy that's all too familiar now, and as years go by. It's just first things first, destroy her credibility, and therefore the truth.
But there will be those who know better. See, the silver lining with everything that's happening, the silver lining is that more and more people are waking up to it. More and more people are, hitting up TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and all of that, and they're trying to put the truth out there because it's not right. It's just not right. And when it comes right down to it, you've got a great deal of people who still want to defend the system.
The Matrix is a system, Neil. That system is our enemy. When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Are you listening to me, Neo?
They will fight to protect it.
Again. Freeze it.
So that's my point, honestly. Is this one thing Morpheus says, bro, It always just rings
It's
in my
another
mind.
training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them. What are they? Sentient programs. They can move in
They're called partisan,
soft, still hardwired to their system.
and they're hardwired to the
Means that
system, bro.
anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one.
So, I've been literally this. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not going to give him like the pleasure. But like, there's a few people who just not randomly, they go for me like all guns a blazing. And since I'm so open and transparent and speak the truth all the time, you know exactly how to hit me because you know what I care about. I care about life, liberty, happiness. So, what do they want to do? Talk about how I might have issues. I'm a homosexual
Trust and
who
believe.
must have syphilis, right? And all of this is my fucking syphilitic illusion that these two parties,
Okay,
because
then everybody has syphilis. Okay, then everybody has fucking syphilis. Let's stick a rusted fucking pipe up their ass on that shit. But
I'm just saying it's filtering down. This whole destroy the credibility thing, it's filtering down. Though that's my whole point.
it's getting redundant because the minute somebody is like, it's really funny that, and then they're like, oh, this person, oh, he's probably racist, oh, this is conspiracy theorist. Shut the fuck up. I'm done. Okay, if you can't handle the truth, if you can't sit back and at least entertain the possibility that we're being subjected to a totalitarian version of feudalism that happened long time ago,
don't worry
then
about me. I was just
be about
I'm
your
sorry to
way.
interrupt you, Beatrice. Okay. You're right, Beatrice. I'm just wondering how to combat that though, like because
How
people
you
around
combat
you.
it? You tell them where the hell to get off at.
Yeah,
Look,
Is that effective? Is it effective?
I've been a podcast host for 3 years. And into season 4 and 5, that's when the whole guns a-blazing started happening. And yeah, at first I'm like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? And then around season 7, season 8, I'm like, okay, I see how it is. You want to defend something that's continuously destroying humanity. You want to defend something that's continuously going to yank away your fucking rights every 4 years. Then be about your way, because I'm not going to be a part of that society. I'm sorry. Because I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, well, they're going to do what they do, and I'm going to be just a typical human being. No, because I know better. I
Right.
lived through it. I'm living through it. And I know deep down in my heart, none of this shit is right. None of it. You can listen to Fox News and MSNBC all fucking day. It's not right. And when it comes right down to it, I wrote a song. It's called On Our Own, and it explains how our empathetic state completely out of range, because you can actually have someone sit and watch what is going on, and either they'll have a little bit of a response or no response. Well, that's because, unfortunately, when you've been medicated for a long time, when you have been literally in a dazed state, you're like, oh yeah, that's real sad. But then when you're awakened, when you're not woke, I hate that fucking term, awakened. When you're awakened, it hits you differently. You can't sleep at night. You want to just write. You want to vent. You want to yell. You want to scream. That's what humanity needs to do now. Because you've been screaming into a pillow. Okay, that's nice. No, you need to scream, because your voice is your frequency. The louder you go, and you have to be right about it though.
Of course.
The louder you go, the more emotionally invested the right way that you are, your voice will be heard. It may not be heard directly, but the very frequency, the very power that is in your voice will be heard. and it'll be heard by the good and the bad. Season
Oh, it
7
is.
was my worst. It was my worst hurdle because my episode Samboism is the new normal. Oh Jesus. It was you just hate black people. Okay, so I'm a black person. I hate black people.
Right.
Okay. That's fine.
So
I'm okay with
yeah,
that. I don't first of all,
the thing.
I had
Go
to
ahead.
I had to simplify that. First of all, I don't hate anyone. I hate the hypocrisy. I hate the fact that even though we talk about, no offense, we talk about Black Lives Matter, we talk about Black Power, we talk about Black this and Black that, we're still kissing the ass of a white man. So how do you feel about that? Seriously. How do you feel that you're slowly being assimilated into a totalitarian version of communism and feudalism combined, which is perpetuated by the Great Reset? How do you feel about that? You feel like you're winning? You feel good? You voted blue? Yeah, fuck
See,
you.
that's my point.
Anyway,
Is that it's not even about race. It's like a majority of our country feels okay about it because it's convenient, and they can still
it's
eat their
not that
cheeseburgers, go to their strip clubs,
it's
and
not
drive their
that
cars
they're
and
okay
sip
with
on
it.
their Starbucks mocha lattes, and don't have to think about it. And now
It's
even
not
more,
that they're
they
okay
don't they
with
don't even
it.
have to think about truth. The fact checkers will tell them the truth. They don't have
It's
to
not
think about what to eat. The people will tell them what to eat. They don't think about what to vaccinate themselves with. The doctors will tell them what to vaccinate themselves with. They don't think
and
about
that's
who to
the reason
vote for
why.
because there's only two choices.
Yep. And there's the ceiling right there. Because they won't even dare. Like, viewers, I know you don't know me, I don't know you, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I dare you to question everything. I'm serious. I dare you to question everything. Don't sit back, don't look at your device saying, oh, it's actually or Biden said it, then it's no. Fucking question everything.
Yeah.
Okay? Use your brain for once.
They'd rather just
Right?
they'd rather just lose your, they'd rather just try to lose your credibility. They'd rather just try to dehumanize you and say and
Look,
discredit you
Tommy,
than
Tommy,
to think about it.
I've
That's
been
what
the
we're up
epitome.
against.
I've
That's
been
what
the
we're up
epitome of
against.
dehumanization, ostracization, disrespect on a socioeconomic and a racial level. So I know what it means to be dehumanized. I know what it means to be bullied. I know what it means to try and have my credibility shot. And trust me, I'm not the fucking woman to do that to. Because my credibility is pure, it is solid, and I will treat with anyone who dares to question who I am.
I don't want to tit for tat. I want to win the game. I want to crush these fucking oligarchs once and for all. And that's why I get so frustrated. Is because it's not even about these little
It's very
peons.
frustrating.
I want to I
So
want to crush I want to crush Mark Zuckerberg beneath my feet, bro. I would like to see if you know
we're dealing with
that Game of Thrones scene when Ramsay Bolton's getting fed to the dogs by Sansa Stark. I want
oh,
to
yeah, I
be
remember
there
that.
when Mark
But you know
Zuckerberg
what I really like?
is in that cage with all those hungry dogs, bro.
You
I
know what
want to
I
be there.
really like? You know what I really
All right.
like? There's this one scene. There's this one scene in the My Hero Academia movie called Heroes Rising. And it looks like it's gonna be the end. But um Deku suggests to Bakugo, hey, I got this crazy idea and let's try it. But it is at great risk to the both of them. And in the end, they win. They win. They save everyone. And I believe that if people were to watch that particular scene, they would get the idea that you can't sit back and let this happen because eventually it's going to hit home. It's going to hit you. It's going to affect you. You're sitting back saying, well, I don't have to worry about it. It's not affecting me. Poo poo on the other people. Then it hits you. And then all of a sudden you're all over fucking Facebook and Twitter, Instagram saying it's not fair. Something's got to, no, because you should have did that long ago. This
I agree.
is why we fail as a human race because we wait until it affects everyone. If we did not wait, if we represented the people it was already being affected by, then we wouldn't even be in this fucking predicament, to be honest. But we were like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't affect me, so whatever. Now you're like, oh, my car's been repoed. I can't pay my bills. I'm trapped. I mean, Well,
Conversation like that.
why didn't you defend us when you were supposed to? You just waited. That's the problem. Everybody has the ability to be their own leader. And I've seen it with my own eyes. The people representing a particular population or a particular group, that's beautiful. But once you make it political, once you make it a version of a political landscape, you've already lost, because they're going to stick their fingers right in and go, you can't say this, can't do that, you have to say this, you have to do that, and we're going to do this. There you go. Your message is down the drain, gone, lost. And that's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. It meant something years ago. It did. It did. It meant something years ago. Now, it's literally on the cusp of being completely useless. And it hurts. It hurts me. You know, as a Black woman, it hurts me. First of all, honestly, I didn't know I was going to be born Black. Let me be honest. I didn't know I was going to be born Black. And I didn't know.
I'm glad I did. I'm glad I was.
I didn't know growing
and I was
up.
glad I was gay.
I didn't know growing
that
up
taught
that
me.
I would be subjected to the systemic racism and bullying. I'm like, oh, people are who they are. But then as I grew up more, especially the fact that, the worst part is I'm a woman, so there's some systemic oppression there. So I'm like, okay, I'm Black, I'm a woman. Oh yeah, bonus, I'm bisexual, so I got the triple threat. So I'm getting a whole bunch of shit. So I realized that it's compartmentalized, that based on who you are is how you're gonna have to go through life. And about a few days ago, I realized that it's not about who I am, it's about what I am. I am a strong, powerful, intellectual, according to my husband, sexy Black woman who won't take shit from anyone. And I'm proud of that. But at the same time, it does cause certain limits. Like, no one really wants to talk to you, because when you start talking articulate and intelligent, and you got my skin tone, you got people looking at you like you grew 3 heads and a tail, saying,
Oh, you're preaching to the choir. You're
are
preaching
you
to the
sure you're
choir.
Black? You sound white. Are you sure you
Speaking
sound
of white, fuck
really?
'em.
Really? So I've always dealt with that, especially when I've been on TV, I've been on the radio, and when I reveal my race, they're like, no, you're playing. You can't be. I'm like, okay, check my Facebook, check my LinkedIn,
Why can't I
check
be?
the social pictures. Hi, yes, I'm Black, I sound white, whatever, fuck you. Anyway.
So Juniper Spoke says, "Tell me, what party are you, bud?" You asked me that twice. I'm sorry I didn't answer you the first time, but I've just been trying to figure out how to answer you, how to let you know that I am not either one of these parties. These two parties are robbing us, and these two parties are literally an abomination of our country. George Washington, not George W. Bush. He's an abomination. George Washington specifically said, in the midst of time and things, these two parties will usurp for their own means the reins of government.
Yes.
These unscrupulous men, and that's literally what's been happening. And it's gotten worse and gotten worse and gotten worse. It's going to continuously get worse. I'm not going to get involved, or I'm not going to enable, and no longer enable that kind of malicious, mischievous, unscrupulous bullshit.
I basically
Sorry, I
left
tried to
the
come up with a
party.
better word than bullshit, but
I basically left the party. When you get the card, because like when you get mail, you get a card saying what party that you're a part of. It shows blank. Okay,
right.
I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. Hell, I'm not even independent, because independent actually gravitates into Democrat.
That's why I call myself progressive independent, because there's five people in our government, just 5, that are trying to do the right thing. They get destroyed every time they try. Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, Rand Paul, and there's another. I can't remember. maybe Pramila Jayapal. Anyway, anytime they try anything, I don't agree with some of their principles or values, but they try to follow their principles and values. And Rand Paul, he's a libertarian. I don't agree with him a lot. I'm a progressive. I mostly agree with Bernie and Tulsi Gabbard. But I like the fact that he fights the FBI. I like the fact that he fucking fights for his beliefs and principles. Only 5 in our government will do it. The rest of them name a price, and you can you could buy them all the time.
So I had a little bit of an issue.
Literally Sodom and Gomorrah. There's not even 10 righteous people. Not even 10. Go ahead.
When it came to my second season of Cosmic Collision, I did an episode called Politics Welcome to Neo America.
Smartest guy ever.
And I described the 20-point indictment of the political system. And that was coined by a very, I don't know if he's known, but his name is Martin L. Gross. Look up all of his works. You will be stunned at the research that he did, along with the group that represents the taxpayers. And you will be astonished. His name is Martin L. Gross. He wrote National Suicide, The Washington Racket, and other wonderful works. And he described the fact that the political landscape has become more of a realm of celebrityhood. Like they have bodyguards, they have security. You can't really see them without an appointment. And if you're pressed, you got to have credentials and all. First of all, there's a difference between a celebrity and a politician. Really is. But they've melded that. They merged it. And that's the reason why there's so much legislation that has been greatly distorted, especially when it comes to, quote, social justice. Yeah, that's been distorted. Forget about it. Other issues, especially with our environment, forget about it. Every single act, every single piece of legislation only did more harm than good. There was one proposal that was presented by John Kerry that stated that he wanted the EPA, the CDC, and basically the White House to enforce and ban PFAS from military installations. That didn't happen. Now we have it all over the place. So I hope everyone's fucking happy. So another thing, now when it comes to, and I'm gonna divert a little bit, there's this big talk about veganism. And I'm like, okay. First of all, I do not judge anyone. You want to go vegan? Go vegan. I don't have a problem with that. But when you try jamming it down other people's throats, then it's not your own personal lifestyle. You're trying to make it political. You're trying to make it a large-scale movement. Back off. People get sick if they do it the wrong way. And even if they do it the right way, they run the risk of getting cancer. I read 19 different blogs, and I read about 100 more where people said, "Hey, yeah, I went vegan for about 6 months and I got thyroid cancer." Here's why. Our bodies are not engineered to deal with that. We're not. We're not herbivores. We're not carnivores. We're not even omnivores. We're heterotrophs. We eat meat, fruit, vegetables, fish, nuts, seeds, and we deal in herbs. We're a trifecta of nutritional requirement. And when you screw up the cycle when it comes to digestion in the human body, you're bound to have issues. You're bound to have errors. And then for one, we're 70% water. That means we are 30% meat. So unfortunately, when you go and eat vegetables for too long, you're going to cannibalize your body. Your body is going to start attacking itself. This is why a lot of people, they flip and they're like, no, that's not true. I'll tell you right now, I did go vegan and it almost killed me. It did. And so the doctor tells me that you can use vegan products, use it. But there have been hundreds of thousands of people who have had to switch to eating maybe chicken or pork, as long as it's farm raised and plant fed. But completely going vegan has its downside. No, I don't like fucking lab grown meat either. It does not sound appetizing. And that incredible Whopper, forget about it. It's disgusting. So believe me, I understand. I understand. But farm raised meat that has not been manipulated has benefits. Fruits and vegetables that have not been manipulated has benefits, but they're slowly taking over the food system, and we have to fight that. That has to do with our health. That has to do with our livelihood, because we're eventually going to keep getting sick if we don't say, you know what, you're going too far. It's one thing that you require us to present identification and things like that and have us fill out paperwork when it comes to social security numbers and things like that. But when you start digging your hands into our water supply, our food supply, our land, our air, and who we are as people, you really overstepped. So you need to fall the fuck back.
So one more thing, and then we got to wind it down because it's been a long day for me. I don't know what you did today, but I've been live streaming all day. But I want to get your reaction on this before you go, Beatrice.
Sure.
Check this out.
Now by Dr. John Brownstein, Chief Innovation Officer at Boston's Children's Hospital and an ABC News contributor. Thanks for being here, Doctor. Now, we've heard the word breakthrough a lot today about this new treatment from Merck. If the data holds up, just how significant could this be to have an oral pill that helps fight COVID?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I actually think this is a huge advance in our fight to counter COVID. Take a pill for 5 days and reduce your chances of hospitalization. What Merck found was essentially hospitalizations were cut by 50% in high-risk individuals, older or obese or those with cardiovascular disease. And that was true for across all variants, including Delta. And we know that these antivirals have worked for other diseases. And so we're seeing this, being applied to COVID. And the fact is that this trial was stopped early because it was deemed unethical to proceed because of the amazing impact that this drug could have. So, there's a lot to think about here in terms of its rollout. You need to implement this drug within 5 days of symptom onset. But the idea is if you can get this drug to people, it will make a really big impact in our battle against COVID.
And we know there are still billions of people around the world who have yet to get any vaccine. So what could this pill mean globally for containing the pandemic and for addressing some of those inequity issues that we've seen around the world treating and preventing COVID?
I think it could be a game changer. Merck expects to produce millions of doses. And, I think this will mean, broader access. We do have to consider pricing here in the US. The vaccine itself is about $39. The treatment is about $700. So we do have to be concerned about affordability and accessibility to everyone here in this country. But I do think, Merck is signing agreements with other countries and thinking about pricing that is tiered to make sure that this drug is more accessible across the globe. And that's great. And
Make it short and sweet, Beatrice. We got to go soon, so go ahead.
Give me a minute. Okay.
We couldn't even test it. It was so good, we couldn't even test it. We had to just do it now.
People,
we had to just do it now. It was so good, we couldn't even wait.
I really hate to break their heart. Okay, so they brought up the question that, for everyone, that hasn't been vaccinated, right? And then they have this breakthrough pill. They need to take it in 5 days. Okay, first of all, there's a pill that handles the symptoms of the flu. Kind of the same thing. Here's the issue that people are not realizing. The pills may already have the vaccine inside them in powder form. So this act of desperation that they're calling a COVID breakthrough, I want everyone to just think for a minute. We already have pushback with the mandates. We already have pushback with the vaccine itself, that a lot of people are coming forward with the side effects. What do you think that pill's going to do? Okay? Again, and I don't judge anyone, pharmaceutical medication has its downside. It really does. So before everyone starts flipping out, before they start flocking to drugstores everywhere to get this, please do your research, because you don't know what you're putting in your body. You really don't. And then by the time you figure it out, it could be too late. Everybody has a right to medical autonomy and the right to make their own informed medical choices, especially the history of pharmacology and the errors that are within. So, my wonderful listeners, please do your research first. Don't overreact. Don't be running trying to get fucking tubs of this shit. Do your damn research before you act. That's all I can say. But I know people are be like, ooh, COVID treatment pill, let's run and get it. And then you're like wondering why like your face doesn't look right the next morning, or why you can't move a particular side of your body, or why you're shitting without warning and when you cough. But that's me. That's my personal opinion, because whenever you have issues dealing with pharmaceutical medications, then you're wondering, well, why is this happening? Because I didn't have this before I took it. Well, that should simplify that it might have done it to you. And when you have real quick, when you have all those ads talking about, do you want to get back to your life and what you used to do? Well, take this pill. You flock, you run, and it's been 2 weeks. Are you back to your normal life yet? No, you have gut dysfunction and you can't stand without peeing your pants. Yeah, okay, that works great. Yes. Thank you, pharmaceutical company, for yet again adding 10 more issues on top of what I'm going through now. And yes, weed, cannabis. I don't use weed is a street name. I don't like using that, but cannabis does help. People have testified. People have testified that there are medicinal benefits to cannabis, especially those that suffer from autoimmune and neurological conditions. There are benefits. They have regained some level of function of life, and it's really ridiculous that they're like, oh, let's legalize it, but let's stick our fingers in that too and make sure that you have the lowest concentration. According to them, this is what they think you should have, like literally my fingers touching, saying, oh, this should help. Again, no, because you don't know the person's medical conditions, how severe the person's medical conditions are, and how much it would take to alleviate the severe symptoms. That's why studies should be done by people who know exactly what they're dealing with, instead of these paid medical experts that, one, look overweight, looks like they haven't been eating too well, but they want to tell us how to live, how to eat, how to work out and stuff like that. Okay? Really? Are you serious?
My personal opinion is no blue collar worker should ever go into a corporation that only cares about profits over you, and grossly quarterly interest profits and their stocks and their property that they will literally call security on the minute they fire you for any infraction that they deem appropriately. Nobody should go into that facility without being completely, totally, and utterly high as fuck. because that's the only possible way you could really stop thinking about the fact that these people are psychos, and they're the reason that we do all of these drugs in the first place. They really are. That's all I have to say.
It is the one thing that I realized is when you have the right kind of earth medicine, I'm going to put it that way, earth medicine in your system, things start to become a lot more clearer and you're a little calmer and you can handle it. But then when you're like, no offense to anyone, when you're basically eating Xanax bars every single day and that's not even helping,
then you end up like Nicki Minaj. You end up looking and thinking like Nicki Minaj.
Something has gone slightly wrong with the communication with your neurotransmitters. And hold on a minute. Just follows me to green lit.
I get that margarita on the rock salt. Rum tray. Rum tray.
Now it's this. It boggles me. They greenlit the vaccine in 6 months, and cannabis has been around.
It boggles all of us. You are not alone, Juniper Smoke. You can't ask that though. Shh! Don't ask that question.
Podcast.
Don't ever ask that question, please. Just focus on all the unvaccinated people. They're the problem.
Oh, give me a
Don't ever focus on any questions that you have.
When I saw that, when
you have questions, blame the unvaccinated for your questions.
When that popped up on my Google notifications about the pandemic of the unvaccinated, I kind of lost my shit, and I went on Twitter and I tagged NBC, ABC, and CBS. I said, y'all niggas really need to check your facts for real.
Joe Biden is a fucking...
That is offensive.
He is a fucking pandemic of the unvaccinated, bitch.
First of all, he's the pandemic of the stupid, okay?
You know the thing.
You know the thing.
Oh,
you know, men,
it
women.
Seems like it's been like 8 years already, and it's only been 9 months.
No,
all right, so
the one short that I ended up seeing that had me cracking up. Like I literally had to take a drink of water because I was literally choking on my laughter. And he was supposed to introduce the Prime Minister of Australia. He said, that guy down below.
Hey, say fat. The guy down below, fat. You know the thing.
Wait, what? This is just as bad. And
look here, you ain't black if you heard that.
It took me back. It took me back, unfortunately, to President Trump saying he spoke to the president of the Virgin Islands.
Oh, President Trump ain't never spoke to no Virgin Islands president. He ain't never spoke to him.
And people should realize that now. There's the slight difference. The slight difference is that he might have said that, but like he didn't exactly, he wasn't exactly too sure of saying that. But when it came to Biden, he was just like completely like way off. And another speech is
he's dementia riddled, and he's got a God complex. He's never wrong.
First
so he
of
just
all,
has to fucking go with it.
With all due respect, and I know a lot of people in China are probably laughing hard about this. When he went to try and be tough and call out, China for all of what they're doing, and he said transverse pressure. I said, wait, what? What did you say? For real? And I keep telling people who attack me on Twitter, they're like, why are you saying things like this? I said, this is what you voted for. You voted for someone who doesn't know.
They just voted for not Trump. Trump. That's all they say.
You voted for someone who shits all over the Constitution, who disrespects constantly people in general. Like, you're aware, and again, you're aware that people are suffering. You're aware that the rent prices are skyrocketing. You're aware that food prices are going up. You're aware that the stock market is pretty unstable. But you sit back and you're more worried. You're more worried about, I don't know, reducing the charges for people who use crack and meth. Are you serious? Oh, right. You want to protect your son. That's what that is. you want to protect your son. So if you
What? Beatrice, that was mid fucking sentence. Yeah, well, to go off what she said, it is to protect his son. Although it's not really doing much. He's a hostile, volatile kind of guy he's being indicted for tax fraud. He's being indicted for statutory rape. He's being indicted for a whole bunch of financial crimes from the FBI. And you would think that the FBI would have caught him by now, but he's the president's son, so not going to happen. Besides, they went out of their way, Facebook and Twitter, to literally ban and censor the New York Post for reporting on the Hunter Biden laptop, even though it wasn't hacked and everything was completely accurate because it was Hunter Biden's laptop, which Hunter Biden corroborated on a 60 Minutes interview. Yes, that's my laptop, he said. I left it there. I couldn't remember where I put it because he was high. So he literally admitted it was his laptop. And did the fact checkers care? No. They fucking censored it and they said it was hacked. They lied anyway. So the FBI is never going to find Hunter Biden. They're never going to fucking ever. He's never going to see a court of law. Not unless Joe Biden does something crazy out of the establishment's purview, like fucking get out of Iraq and then get out of Libya, Somalia, Yemen, Kuwait, Bosnia, and all the other countries that were also in Syria that they don't ever talk to you about in the mainstream media because they want us to be excited about Afghanistan, even though my 5-year-old cousin could have literally gotten out of Afghanistan better. Like literally. I thought you didn't want Trump to win again or run again, Joe. Literally, you gave Trump like a whole bunch of shit to say about the helicopters and you know the military leaves last. Bro, everybody knows the military leaves last. It's not a right or left, Democrat, Republican issue if the military leaves last. The question is, why did he pull out the military before the citizens? This guy is incompetent beyond all imagination, bro. It's not even a fucking political side. He's literally corrupt. He's literally incompetent beyond all imagination. There is no disagreement. There is no, I think we should cut taxes. I think we should raise taxes. I think we should fucking have health care. I think we should have fucking welfare raised. This is no political fucking disagreement. He literally took the military out before everybody else. That's not a disagreement. That's incompetence, bro. Just so y'all know. Beatrice, I said let's wrap it up, but I didn't mean like just leave all of a sudden. But guys, that was Beatrice Harris, aka Ms. V, Slave Nation Podcast. I'm Tommy Nation Politics. Thanks for joining me this Tommy Nation Tuesday. Thanks, Juniper Smoke, for coming back, giving me another chance. I appreciate your dialogue as well. So, way to be a part of the show, and let your friends know they can come here, be a part of the show too. We can have a collective, common good, e pluribus unum kind of talk. All we have to do is be free thinking, innovative, and totally open minded. Tommy Nation Politics.